I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched double file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher. His name was Mr. A.J. Durgan. He was the incoming president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And we led that march, teachers, for the first time in the United States, coming down the steps of Clark Elementary School, down Lawn Street, down to Alabama Avenue, down to the courthouse. Teachers, for the first time. Getting down to the county courthouse, that was standing next to the steps, the superintendent of education, the chairman of the board of education, to persuade me, because I was a teacher, to take the teachers back to the school because we had made a point, and that no longer should we try to pursue that right from that particular point. And I told them we had a right to be at the county courthouse. It was our courthouse. We were not backing down from our right to be there. And I asked the superintendent and the chairman of the board, who signed my check, to step aside. We went up those steps. Jim Clark had his deputies across the door, and he indicated that we were trying to make a mockery out of his courthouse. And we indicated to him that that was our courthouse also. He gave us 1 minute to move off of those steps. At the expiration of that minute, he took the billy club and jabbed us down the steps on the sidewalk. And my partner, Mr. A.J. Durgan, who, as I said, was my teacher, he was not quite used to that stuff like I was. And he asked me on the ground, he said, "What shall we do?" I said, "We are going back." He said, Yeah. And so we went back the second time. We jabbed down the steps after a minute, and he asked me the same question. I gave him the same answer, and he gave me the same response. The third time we went, I really was trying to get all the teachers arrested because teachers were not aware of the tremendous influence. They were the largest black professional group here in Dallas County. And so after going back the third time, he said, "If you don't go up these steps," Jim Clark said, "we're going to arrest you." I said to myself, exactly what I want you to do. And so at about 45 seconds before that minute expired, someone on the inside of the courthouse came and pulled him on the inside of the courthouse door and said, I didn't go in there with him, but I can imagine what they told him. For goodness sake, don't arrest those teachers.
Special guest. Now you have Can y'all hear me now? Okay, we're good. Appreciate that. Just coming through like that.
Just talk about me, man.
Do what?
Keep going.
Okay. Welcome to the Lineage Podcast. Like everything great, we have technical difficulties every now and then. It's no biggie. We're gonna keep the show rolling. We have a special guest today, real estate agent. I just don't want to give her that one title. I'm gonna let her explain what all that she does, but we're gonna get to her in a minute. Give us about 10 minutes. We're gonna get to her. But like I said, welcome to the Lineage Podcast. This show is called A House Is Not a Home. We will be discussing, and as we like to do on the Lineage Podcast, we like to bring things to your knowledge that you may not know. And we also like to give flowers to our black businesses, our black excellence, our people who are striving to do better and bring more clarity and more. And just better their lives, man. And so we really church anniversary of Ebenezer Baptist Church. Looking like we're doing better, bro. Of Ebenezer Baptist Church. And if you are in Selma or around the area, please come out and support. It is an all weekend event. They got something going on Saturday. That may be outside and things of that nature, and of course, church on Sunday. I think we got it. I think we good. I still hear a little ringing, but we'll keep it moving. We'll get it together as we go on. But as we did last week, are we ready to? Not yet. We're not ready yet. Well, let's do this. Let's flip it a little bit right quick before we bring our guests on, because before we bring guests on, we like to have everything right. We are talking about a house is not a home. Now, a house and a home is two different things. To my understanding, what makes a house a home? If you are in the podcast, please comment and share your opinion. What makes a house a home? Because we all know a house is just a building. A home, this is my personal opinion, a house becomes a home when you put family in it, when you put structure in it. To me, the top three things you got to have to make a house a home. One is a peaceful wife. Well, let me start by number one is God. This is me, y'all. This is me. One, God got to be in it. God ain't in it. House is not a home. Number two for me, a peaceful wife. I didn't just say a wife. Let me say this: a peaceful woman. Let me say a peaceful woman. That's number two. And number three, legacy. I think with legacy is building the generations and inputting into them. Because like TJ said to me, it's not what you leave to your kids, it's what you leave in them. So I'll say my piece with that. We're still trying to get things together, y'all. So as y'all can see, I'm coming out the top of the dome. In the comments, what makes a house a home? I see people on Facebook. If you wanna, yeah, I know. If you wanna Want to comment? What makes a house a home? Yeah, on Facebook. I must say, you gotta have a peaceful wife to make a house a home. We still getting together, y'all. We still getting together. Before we bring anybody in the house, we gotta have it right in their order. Y'all understand that? Y'all understand that? I think we're getting it straight now. Everything is good. Everything's kosher. Everything's good. Everything's kosher. Yeah, I think we're getting it straight. Yeah. What else makes a house a home? Okay. Peaceful wife. Also, money. Money. Still here. Yeah, money. Somebody said money too.
Mute your mic, man.
Okay.
Just mute it real quick.
Okay. That's good. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? I guess says they can hear me. Huh? Straight? Okay, so we picking up from you. All right. So we are finally where we need to be. Appreciate y'all patience. Before, so what you want to bring? You want to bring on this or this? Bring. Okay. Let's do this. We're gonna bring our guests in since we got a good. We're gonna bring the guests in now. Takia Holmes. Let me. I ain't gonna bring a picture. Look, she laughing. She backstage, y'all, so I can see her. Takia Holmes. She is a graduate of Georgia State University. She received her BS in Science shortly after she obtained her MBA in Business Administration. She has served with several nonprofits such as the Big Brother and Big Sister program. She is the wife of Sean Holmes Sr. and mother of 2. So without further ado, we at the Lineage Podcast, we want to welcome Miss Takia Holmes to the show.
Hello. Can y'all hear me now?
So let's make sure you good.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear Takia? Make sure we can hear. Hold on. Yes, we hear you. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, Marvin and Alan. It's an honor to be here and to be a part of this today.
Okay.
I appreciate you both.
Hey, we appreciate you joining us. You know, we got some history. We went to the same schools and this and that and the third. We're from the same hood, if for lack of better words. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know I read a short piece. I mean, we can go on for days, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a real estate broker, focusing mostly on Metro Atlanta. I am growing in that Northwest region where I live. That's your Dallases or Lithia Springs, Northwest Georgia area. I am a wife and mother of 2, and I am busy constantly. So I am the CEO of the Homes Realty Group, and I'm also the CEO of the Homes Household.
So you wearing the big hat in many many areas over there.
Yes. My
Okay.
husband, between the two of us, we run about three businesses. I own real estate, and he owns a plumbing company, and we have another business that's underway. So yes, we're pretty busy over here.
Okay, so what made you want to get into the field that you're in?
So a lot of people don't know this about me. I bought my first property at 18 years old. I bought a 3 bedroom, 2 bath condo in Decatur, Georgia, not far from where we went to school. And I launched a fix and flip renovation company to help with my school undergraduate expenses. So I've been in real estate now for almost 20 years.
Mm.
Not to show my age, because I'm every bit of 21, but I've been in real estate, in and out for about 20 years. I decided to get my license about 5 years ago because I realized that daycares were raising my children, and I needed to take up my time.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that'll do it when the children are. We have to put them priority. So a lot of the times, they don't understand it. They think it's just supposed to happen, but sometimes we make major moves, for their comfortability. But that's very noble. So, why is it important? I'll say this: what is the most one of the most important things that we? I don't want to just say as an African American community, but us period. When you're buying a house, what is one of the most important things that we need to know going in?
So can we, if it's okay with you, I'd like to back up and answer your
Of
question,
course.
Mr. Reese. Number one, you asked the community what makes a house a home, and your second item on that was a peaceful wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she has to have a peaceful husband that creates that heaven for her in order
Okay.
for her to operate out of, right? So anything you give a woman, she's going to multiply, right? You give her
Facts.
seed, she gives you a child. Give her a
Mhm.
house, she's going to give you a home. You give her land, there's no telling what you're going to get.
Okay.
So like your not Lake Lanier, but Greenwood. Greenwood was in Oklahoma. A lot of us know the backstory behind it. It was one of the first Black wealthy communities that was primarily Black. It was burned down to the ground after two young Black males got accused of basically what would that be? Kidnapping and murder of a young Caucasian woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was 40 acres of land. They had grocery stores. They had banks. They had their own post office. Do you know how big that is? So that's why land is important. Our ancestors knew the importance of owning real estate. Furthermore, owning land, they're not making it anymore. That's God's work.
Right.
So the importance of home ownership dates back that far back, even before, because I think even Seneca Hill, Seneca Village, that's the Central Park now in New York. That was launched in 1825.
Mm.
That was almost 40 years before the Emancipation Proclamation was signed.
Right.
People don't realize.
That's true.
And they were subdividing lots even back then. So we knew, right, as people, the importance of ownership. Somehow we got along and we lost it.
Mm. So we got it. So we need to be in the land business.
Land, real estate, we need to reclaim what's ours. We're not starting as a people. So yes, it's been about over 100 different instances, right, where they've flooded us out, they've burned us out, and these are prominent, wealthy, thriving communities, right? Just up the road in Alpharetta, Lake Lanier. I know people talk about it all the time, and I don't mean to be redundant, but it went from like 1,000 to 0 in like 8 days.
Mm.
And people don't realize. So yes, it's important. It's not even about ownership. It's about control. If you want to get deeper into it.
Right. That's true. Go ahead, bro.
Do you think it's important for us to buy land around each other as a community? I know with social media and today's market, we don't have to be close to have a community and support each other businesses. Do you think it's important for us to kind of have land and ownership of businesses, physical structures around each other in today's time? Do you think that's important?
So, because we have technological advantages, right? Again, we don't have to physically be next to each other. However, these towns were geographically, right, were close and they were
Mm-hmm.
able to thrive off of what one was doing, and they had more of a community mindset, right? Now it's kind of
That's
like
right.
every man for himself, right? So,
That's right.
okay, you got the land. I think it was I can't think of his name, so don't stone me for it. But he literally got into Seneca Village and immediately subdivided 200 parcels of land on that same strip. What does that mean? You buy a parcel from me, so you've contributed back to my pocket, right? But now you're going to launch what, a post office on the 2 acres that you bought. So now I have to go through you, right?
That's right.
And then Mr. Brown bought parcel number 13 over here as a grocery store. This is the only grocery store in this community. So now we have to go to that grocery store and buy from that grocery store. So it all works together. It's all interconnected. You cannot thrive alone. One of the things we say in real estate is that you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself, right? Because you have to have a listing agent on the other side of any deal to say, hey, your offer is good enough for me to accept it, right?
Right.
And you have to have someone willing to sell, and you have to have someone willing to buy.
So tell me this: do you think we could do a better job of educating the young people? Frederick Douglass said that it's better to train children um, than
To
to fix
repair
broken
adults.
men. You know what I'm saying? So do you think in today's society, it's very important for us as a people to kind of have more of a stronghold on our school boards to be able to teach, especially, in the black community, more being financial literate, credit, taxes, but also teaching the importance of buying land, owning land. I think if we kind of go into the school boards and putting the right people in place, so we won't be behind the 8 ball when we coming out of school. Uh, do you think that's important for us to do, to kind of get more into the educational system and
So
influence them more in today's society for our children?
when you're talking about school, you're talking your elementaries, or are you talking your colleges? What do you mean?
Well, I think you can spoon feed. I think you can in elementary you can kind of sprinkle it, but I think 8th grade through 9th grade you can kind of put it on thick on what on educating us, as educating the kids on these particular topics. Having people like you come in. Sometimes we do career day in elementary kids. Have firefighters, police officers, or doctors, or so and so come into school. But we kind of lose that when we get to high school. But people like you should be able to come into the high schools, realtors, brokers, people who understand land, finances, and what it can do to build wealth in your family. I think career day should be a very important tool in high school now. And we kind of gotten away from that, but I think that's very important.
So I agree with you 100%. 110%. I agree with you. But it starts earlier. It starts in your kindergartens.
Okay,
School in itself is structured to produce workers.
that's right.
Let me start there. Okay. And I'm not downing teachers. I'm not downing anyone who's in the educational system, because I was there today. I don't know if you saw my post. I was making copies. Like, I thought it was going to be simple, but it wasn't. I humped and I worked, right? So I would never take anything away from those wonderful people that sit in the classroom with our children every day, right? But school is designed to create a worker out of your child. School does nothing but tell you how to follow direction.
Gotcha.
Because guess what? That person that takes it a step further, that starts education about assets, liabilities, and finance earlier in their child, it's the rich dad, poor dad, right? They are the ones that's going to employ your child. Those people that are thinking outside of the box, those people that learned the difference between an asset and a liability early and employed it in their own life, they are the ones that's going to employ your child. You see everyone say, hey, chase your dream, or you'll be working for someone that did. That is the absolute truth. 100%. Now, I am not saying go quit your job tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is think outside the box, create a plan for your wealth. No one said that you were supposed to. We're from Ellenwood, Georgia, right? Let's just have a candid conversation. We're from Ellenwood, Georgia, right? Our average income in our community has gone up. It's gone up a little bit. It's gone up to about $57,000 per capita in Ellenwood, Georgia, right? Okay. But back when we were in school, it was right at about that $40,000 mark. So your people that was out there saying they got out the mud, or they were dope boys, or they were this. No, you didn't do that. Your parents were at the time almost high middle class.
That's right.
Right? That's right. And so the thing about it is that we never learned in school or anywhere else. Our parents didn't have the wherewithal to teach us about the ownership of land. They only knew to buy a house, right? And to raise their children, right? And this is the stability that we've only been taught to reach for. Now we're in a situation where it's buy the house, but don't just buy that house, buy a multi-family property, live in one property, and then rent out the other three, right? So now you're house hacking, and now the other three tenants are now paying for your mortgage, right? So now you're driving your Lambos, and we're elevating our children in that way. Right. And so the elevation is there through us in our generation. We have to expose them. So with my children in particular, I've put them on my payroll because I can. The tax rules said that I can. Yeah. And I like to tie that back to Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. That was his whole platform. Know what's available to you.
That's right.
Know the rules in your community. Know what you're allowed to do. Because they're getting over on you because they know the rules.
That's right. You're absolutely right. That's right. So tell me this, what we need to do, since we know this, and you said that kindergarten is a good age, we need to partner with the foundation to be able to educate. We can't depend on the schools, we can't. And we can't sit on our blessed assurance either. So what we have to do, especially we from Ellenwood, Conley, we all went to the same school. Like you was at All Good Elementary today, right? That's still the DeKalb County School.
No, that was in Dallas. There's an All Good in DeKalb, which is like Hambrick Road. Yes, there's another one in Dallas. Yeah.
But what would it be for us to come together and be able to, this information that you have, to give to the young people? You know what I'm saying? And their parents too. So we have to figure out how that looks, because we can't, if we don't start teaching, it's going to be another generation pass that's going to be behind the 8 ball. So we have to start somewhere. So, I appreciate you coming on the show today, but I think this conversation needs to go abroad in our community. You know what I'm saying? And not just the conversation, but the do behind the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I appreciate you, and I appreciate who you are in the community. And like I said, we support you. Keep doing what you're doing, selling these homes, elevating, hey, proud of you.
Thank you. I needed that. I appreciate that. I really do. But I think what that would look like in real life application would be us putting together and partnering with, right? Because you're not absent. The school, I think when we were in school, it was the school cannot live apart from the community. And that is the absolute truth. And I think it would be up to us to develop that curriculum, to develop that piece, because think about it. You got 5 and 6-year-olds that can recite a rap song on the radio.
That's true.
There is no reason they can't learn this stuff. We put those limitations on them, right? But there's no reason why they can't learn about bank accounts, assets, interest rates, right? No, we don't want them to do compound multiplication. No, that's not what we're saying. We're just saying introduce it right at this age,
right.
and let them learn when they're learning. What is it? The PIMDAS, the multiple. What is it? The multiple.
Yeah, the parentheses, exponents,
Yes,
multiplication.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that with my son right now, and I learned, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, but I remembered exactly what each one stood for. So if you drill that into children, right, assets and liabilities, they'll learn it.
That's true.
Right? Because I didn't apply it. I haphazardly at 18 knew that I did not want to pay rent. Why? Because rent doesn't make me rich. Rent doesn't contribute to my bottom line. I cannot tap into a home equity line of credit if I rent a unit from you. You can as my landlord, but I can't as a tenant, right? So I knew very early that I wanted to be an owner. I got a condo first, so that probably wasn't the best way I could have went, but I learned from it, I sold it, and I've actually graduated from that, right? So I was actually able to make a profit from that first investment, which went into the rest of the investments for my company, right? But I would not have been able to do that in an apartment, is my point.
That's true. That's true.
You're 100% right, but we don't want to hold you too long. But before you get out of here, tell everybody, give your social medias, how they can contact you, your email, or if they need a home, they want to buy some land, or anything from the rooter to the tutor.
Okay.
How can they get in touch with you? And yeah, let them know.
So I am a commercial and residential certified realtor, associate broker now with Heritage Oaks Realty. All of my social media is at Dream Homes 1. Holmes is spelled HOLMES, so it's after my last name. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything is Dream Homes 1. My direct dial is on basically every post that I post. It's 470-685-5260. And my email address is takia.homes@gmail.com.
Well, look, we appreciate you joining us to come give your expertise on things that we need to know to help us move forward. You have to come back.
I would love to.
Yeah, we'll talk offline, but we appreciate you joining us, and have a good night.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, man. Knowledge. I wrote some things down, so we really got to get that in now.
That's the thing, man, about liabilities and assets. You and your wife, y'all just started your car on Turo. Yeah. So what she was saying about liability and assets, y'all turned your car from a liability to an asset. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize when we buy cars and we only use it for pleasure, it is a liability because all your money goes into fixing it, changing the oil, the tires, this and that, and you're not getting anything back from it but washing it and it looking good. Correct. But since you're renting it out and people are able to pay you money for your car, you just turned your car into an asset. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we didn't learn that simple gesture when we were young. Right. Liabilities against assets. Me and my wife, we got married. We was fortunate enough we never rented. You know what I'm saying? I left mama home, went and bought a house, and we turned it into an asset.
Y'all was fortunate.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the things we have to pass to our kids. But people like to kill who understands, land and wealth in that area. Right. Man, we got to make sure we, once again, declare hustable. We got to make sure we put more light on women like them instead of being Megan Thee Stallion in the community. You get what I'm saying? So our children can listen to them and they will gain some type of knowledge instead of just learning how to twerk and all that other stuff. That's our liabilities, and it's not an asset. You know what I'm saying?
Right, sir. Hey, please believe we definitely gonna go over time tonight. It is what it is. You know, we had a rough start, but we here. Look, we finna go to commercial, and when we come back,
Yes, sir.
we're gonna say, you know how they say the first lady of the United States, we call her the first nurse of the Lineage Podcast.
And she's so happy to be my wife. She's gonna come on here and do what I say.
But look, when we come back, we're gonna go to commercial, we're gonna come back. She is gonna really give us some knowledge about some health things that we need to know. We had to have her on here because that's one of the things that is really destroying our black men in the community. But as far as a whole, we can really get on top of this health thing, and it starts with knowledge. So we're gonna go to commercial. You're gonna watch a little bit of FD. You know the man himself, and when we come back, none other than the first nurse, Kimberly Reese, is gonna help us get our health in order. So we will be right back after this message.
I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed that we were going to march.
Nice.
We'll stand strong. Where we belong. It's not about yourself.
First of all, serving notice on our nation. It's Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese.
We march. We march. We march. Like to march.
He said, what shall we do? I said, we are going back. He said, Yeah.
We're back. You see it say MJ Reese, but he had to get out the seat real quick. Right now we have Nurse Reese, and she's about to give us some nurse tips with her expertise on taking care of our body and mind.
Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hey Mr. Reese.
What's going on?
So today's topic of discussion is called the silent killer. Can you guess what the silent killer is?
I don't even want to try
I'll
to
help you
guess.
out. We're talking about hypertension today.
Okay.
It's known as the silent killer because most of the time when people have high blood pressure, they don't have any signs or symptoms of it. So it silently attacks the body. According to the American Heart Association, the best prevention is knowing your numbers and making changes that matter in order to prevent and manage high blood pressure. So first we're going to start by defining high blood pressure. High blood pressure is when the force of your blood pushes against the walls of your blood vessels and it constantly is too high. So the pressure is very high. So I'm going to let you imagine going outside, turning on a water hose or a garden hose and went to the highest pressure that you could turn it to. So imagine the water or garden hose, that's representing the walls in your blood vessels. And the water is representing the actual blood body.
So you saying that now you use the water hose as an example.
Yes.
Now I know when I'm washing the car.
Yeah.
All right. And the water hose when I'm going around the tire, sometimes it get kinked up.
Yes.
So is that what you're saying? What happens to the vein in our brain, or what?
Yes.
What's going on?
You are absolutely correct. That's the perfect analogy that I was going to use. A key water hose or a garden hose tied into a knot represents a weakened or compromised cardiovascular system due to weakened or hardened arteries. So just think, when you're washing your water hose, think of your cardiovascular system. And it being kinked, that's representation of high blood pressure or a weakened artery. As I mentioned before, the best prevention is knowing your numbers. According to the Mayo Clinic, the top numbers, also known as the systolic pressure, is the maximum pressure the heart exerts while beating. The bottom number, which represents the diastolic number, is the amount of pressure in the arteries between the beats. So I want to bring up a chart. Do you have a chart? So we can keep it moving without the chart. The chart was going to represent the normal blood pressure, the elevated blood pressure, and high blood pressure. So the normal blood pressure is when the systolic or top number is less than 120 and the diastolic number is less than 80. There's the chart. Elevated blood pressure is the range is between 120 to 129, and the diastolic less than 80. High blood pressure, and there are three, when you get into the hypertension stages, there are 3 stages. The number one, the first is when the systolic blood pressure, the top number is between 130 over 139, and the diastolic is between 80 and 89. You have stage 2, that's when the systolic number is 140 or higher. And then you have the diastolic number 90 or higher. And then when you get into this stage, which is the hypertensive crisis, that's when you want to go to your local ER or contact your physician. You are threatening a stroke or heart attack. That's when your systolic number is higher than 180 and your diastolic number is higher than 120. And that's very dangerous. A lot of people stroke out. I used to work in the neuro unit. We had people as young as 30, 35 stroking out, aneurysms because of uncontrolled silent hypertension. And that could be life-threatening, and I've seen people even lose their life. Again, high blood pressure leads to heart attack, stroke, heart failure, kidney disease, peripheral artery disease, and many other health complications. I'm gonna give you a few things to do to control your blood pressure. As I mentioned before, know your numbers. You can buy your own personal blood pressure machine from a local store such as CVS, Walmart, Walgreens. Keep a diary of your numbers. Write them down. That way you can understand the trending of your numbers. You can understand what your body is doing. Also, remember, it's important to replace your personal blood pressure machines at least once or twice a year, every 6 months to 12 months. This ensures accurate readings. The hospital machines, home machine, it's not calibrated like the hospitals are. So to ensure that you are getting correct readings, you need to replace them quite often. Also, it's important to watch your sodium intake by not using a lot of salt in your food. Check the labels, such as for hidden processed foods such as tomato sauce, soups, pre-mixed foods, and condiments. The dietary guidelines for Americans recommend that Americans consume less than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, and moving on, ideal limit of no more than 1,500 milligrams a day. And last but not least, if you have been officially diagnosed with high blood pressure and your doctor has prescribed you medication, please take the prescribed medication consistently as they have prescribed, and stay at a healthy weight. At least exercise 30 minutes a day, and watch your alcohol intake as well.
I appreciate those health tips, but Ms. Reese, I have a question to ask you.
Okay, what's your question?
Now, the topic is a house is not a home. And we've been at it for 13 years, together 16 years. And I saw one of the comments someone said, from your profession as a nurse, we're talking about blood pressure, we're talking about house is not a home. So now that means the relationship of a marriage. Now you tell me, what are as a wife, what are some of the things that you practice with your husband? That your house is already a home because the home is family. But what are some of the things that you practice to keep his blood pressure down? To make sure that he don't had to go to the emergency room. He got pre-hypertension, and his hose pipe of a vein don't pop. So
Okay, what we do together is we try to keep peace and relaxation. Don't try to take on too much of a workload. Try to understand communication. That's number one thing, and just try to order your steps.
So do you think? So do you think in a relationship? Let's go to our community and let's be honest. Do you think as a married couple, for people to be healthy as far as blood pressure, is to learn how to communicate during disagreements?
Yes.
Can we kind of agree that sometimes that through disagreements is when people fuzz, argue, start sweating, and sometimes people can stroke out.
You're right.
I'm just being honest to help married people that in our community, since a lot of times that the black culture kind of tends with having blood pressure hereditary, and also sometimes our dieting, and sometimes the lack of working out and the lack of certain things in a marriage. Sometimes is it important for wife and husband and wife to hold each other accountable, not only by dieting, but saying, okay, is this argument worth this person's life?
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, like I said, ordering and prioritizing. Prioritizing meaning, is this even worth fussing over, arguing?
Yeah.
Try to reduce your stress, and don't sweat the small things.
That's right. Well, Miss Kimberly Dion Reese, we really appreciate your time on the Lineage Podcast, and I'm very much looking forward to your next week health tip. Thank you for coming in.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We will be right back.
In January the 22nd, I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched up a file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher. His name was Mr. A.J. Durgan. He was the incoming president of the Selma City Teachers Association.
Sorry, we had to cut the great one short. But yeah, we back. We appreciate y'all being patient with us. Sometimes things happen, and you have to just improvise, man. You got to improvise. But let's go into our topic of the house is not a home. I know I said three things. Let me get this off. I said the three things that I would like, that I know, me personally, that makes a house a home. Number one is God. God got to be in it. This is me personally now, y'all. God has to be in it, number one. Number two, a peaceful woman. And number three for me is legacy. Building that legacy, that next generation. Those are the three things for me.
Those some good ones, man.
I want to say, those some good ones. You said, God first, Most High. Got to have Him first. Then you said a peaceful woman. What was your last one?
Legacy. Kids.
Legacy, kids. Okay. I think I can second that.
Okay.
The first of the Most High. I think having the Most High first in my life keeps me grounded. You know what I'm saying? Even the words that I come to give you peace more abundantly. And then after that, like you say, a peaceful woman is very important. You know what I'm saying? A woman is not gonna push your buttons.
Right.
A woman that's because you know people say, a lot of people say, man, you shouldn't let no one push your button. We imperfect.
Right.
They make it seem like we got everything together. We in this world, it's not a blueprint. We can only look at people who's done it to us and say, okay, I can take something from my dad, I can take something from my father-in-law, my granddad, this and that, and it kind of help me mold myself. But we don't know. We live in this life blindfold and just trusting and believing in the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? So when men say a piece of woman who's not gonna push his buttons, that's what we mean. And society tell you and say, nah, you're supposed to always have it together. No. You know what I'm saying? Why does the men always have to have it together? You know, a lot of times, you know, people think, and I see a lot on TV and on social media, you know, they allow women to say what they want to say when they want to say it. But as soon as a man come back at it, he wrong. It's just like I don't know if you saw this particular situation at the airport. This lady slapped this man, and everybody didn't do nothing. As soon as he started going on and defending himself or finna grab her, no, oh, you're wrong. Well, why y'all weren't saying nothing when this lady was sitting here putting her hands on this man? Everybody should just, you know, have control over themselves. You know?
Well, I think it boils to accountability. When you have in your okay, in I think both male and female should have accountability. So it has to be repercussions to your actions.
Always.
And I think a lot of the times when you feel as if you don't have repercussions, then what happens is it alters what you can do. But if you know there are going to be repercussions, certain things you just wouldn't do.
That's right.
And since we own a house, it's not a home. That's how it is with the children. If we were to just let our children just go free, let them do what they want to do with no structure, then with no repercussions, then their actions would be different.
But that's what we have today. We have a lot of situations where children are allowed to do what they want to do, and you see what's going on. You know, that's just you. You're right. So a home. What is a home? A home is relationship. A home is what dwells inside of a house. The house is only a building it's only a physical structure. It has nothing to do with mental mindset, your manners, you know, your character. A house doesn't have any character. Right. Now, until you put people in it, is when the house gets its character, because your neighbors will tell you the type of character that house has.
Right, facts.
You get what I'm saying? If y'all loud and always having a party over there, that house be lit.
Yeah.
Or that house vacant. Or that house, you know, there was some good neighbors. It's only until a family dwells inside a house that it home. What type of home do you have? That's the question.
That's the question.
You know what I'm saying? And what type of home are you? What type of home are you producing in this world that's creating other homes, which creates a neighborhood and community?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. People in the comments tell us what it can be. It can be either or. What makes a house a home, and what makes a home a house? What makes a house a home, or vice versa? What makes it not a home? It can be positive things that make it a home, but your home can also be negative.
It can also be negative.
You know, I didn't think of any negatives, but
it could be dysfunctional. Think about a lot of homes have created broken people. People have been molested in homes. They have been physically abused in homes. They have been mentally abused in homes. So what type of, as a man, bro, as the head of your house, your home, what type of home are you producing? Are you watching over your family to make sure your family is right and secure? And things to your kids that are not happening, they could be broken.
right.
A lot of times we're not paying attention to the minute things in our home. You get what I'm saying? We get used to everyday living that we don't concentrate on our home. Because like when we had what Takia said on here, she said that most of the time in school we're taught how to work. We're not taught entrepreneurship. We're not taught that. We're taught how to work. But when you work, it's you're at work more than you're really at home. So do you really pay, as being a worker, do you really pay attention to your house, your home? Because when you home, a lot of times you sleep 8 hours.
Right.
Then you get back up and you do the same thing over again. Then when you the weekend, a lot of times you're resting, and then you got to do stuff with your family.
Lean said, nowadays people are so far gone, they don't realize they are in dysfunction.
That's right.
Now that is true. That's true. Some people don't even realize. I'm sorry. Some people don't even realize they're in dysfunction.
Man, sometimes I feel like our culture and our people, we have allowed so many generations to pass that some people dysfunction. They've been functioning in that dysfunction. They think that's the right way to go. You know what I'm saying? We are creating a mindset now that people really don't want to be married. People don't want to be married, bro. People don't want to work for nothing no more.
And see, with me, I don't see how you don't. Because when I hear people say they don't want to be married, I always hear I hope I can explain what's in my mind right. I hear the outer shell. I hear if you have a pecan, I hear, the shell before you crack it. I hear that. They don't want to be married because, maybe I don't want kids, or they don't want to be married because I don't, most men are this, most women are like this, but then they don't realize that there's nothing more precious than the union and the teamwork. That's what the real marriage is about. It's not, and a lot of the times we focus on what we can obtain. Nowadays what we can obtain during the marriage, as far as the outer, the cars, the houses, you know what I'm saying? But what makes that marriage strong is the little thing.
That's right.
So when I hear people say, "Oh, I don't want to get married," and then the first reasons are something with that shell and not the actual pecan, because that shell at the end of the day don't mean nothing. It's what's inside that. So when I hear people say that's the reason they don't want to get married, it makes me be like, I don't know, you don't want to coexist. You don't want to work from the inside out.
You don't want accountability. Because look, it's just like, for instance, I'm gonna say this right here. Break it down to like a fast car. I drive a fast car. Even if I feel like my car is fast, I drive a hot rod. But guess what? I'm fast by myself. Who judges that I'm fast? Me. But guess what? Some just as fast gonna hold me accountable to if I'm really fast, they pull next to me. If we take off, and my 500 horses in my SRT, I'm getting down the road by myself like I'm fast. But this darn Hellcat and pull next to me. He going down the road faster than me. I'm like, I'm not that fast. Right. So who's judging? Where's the accountability? They don't want the accountability, Jay. You know what I'm saying? Right. The accountability, that Hellcat just told me you're not as fast as you thought you was. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Beats out succeeding alone. 100% agree. 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. Charlene said, a black man told me that we as blacks don't understand the power we have if we really work together as couples. 100%. Man agree.
Because a lot of us have the seeking spirit. They want to say, I did it. I did it myself. No. Oh, you know what? I've come to the point, I don't want to say I did it myself. You know, if someone ever, from the things that we've done, someone ever wanna give me something, I want to have my family with me. I want to take a picture with my wife and my kids, and my family that's been with me through the hard times, and now they're experiencing the success with me. But a lot of people want to say, I can do it myself. It's like a child's mentality. I had that mentality when I was a child. Mom and dad always say, I want to do it myself. I want to do it myself. I want to do it myself because I can do it. Man, in life, in this world, you cannot have that mindset if you want to be successful in some type of relationship or just in life, period. Because you're going to fall.
That's facts. That's facts.
You're going to fall.
Amanda said, sometimes people don't want to be married. They've been damaged by a previous relationship. However, if you do the work to heal, you'll attract what you deserve. I agree with 95% of that. No, let me say this. I agree with what you're saying. Sometimes people don't want to be married because they've been damaged by a previous relationship. I agree with that. But I really agree with if you do the work to heal, you'll attract what you deserve. When you talk about previous relationship, to me, it hurts, and I understand it. To me, you have a term limit on that. Now, this is me.
Okay.
I can't tell nobody how long to heal, or how long it's gonna take you to get over somebody, or how long it's gonna take you to take the Band-Aid off and actually put some healing and actually do the work. But this is just my mentality. I feel as if sometimes we give people too much power.
Okay.
We give people too much power to the point as, if my ex saw me from our relationship and I'm still damaged and it's 10 years, she got too much power. I didn't gave her too much power to where I can't even move forward to where I need to be because I done let this person. And I know where man is coming from, because sometimes you give your all to someone and then you're damaged. So it's like, to heal over that, it takes time. But at the same time, I think a lot of the times we as people will dwell in that hurt and that damage longer than we need to, instead of moving on.
I would say that, but I don't think that's the biggest reason why people don't want to get married. I'm gonna tell you the biggest reason.
Okay.
And I experienced this when me and my wife was getting married by one of a friend of one of her family members. Most people convince people who ain't never been damaged not to get married because they're damaged. They'll tell you, child, live your life. You too young to get married. Go live your life instead of being married at 25, 26 years old, 24, 25, 26 years old. Most of our young people are deterred from being married because someone who's 30, whose marriage did not work, has influence over them. Not from the brokenness, bro. I'm real with you. Because these young folks ain't been, but everybody been cheating on you, have boyfriend, girlfriend. Everybody. Everybody been broke. That's given. That's real broke. I'm talking about making that big step. It's the influence of the generation before that tells us, go to school, go do this, go get higher education, go travel the world before you get married, because marriage is going to tear you down. And that's not so.
I agree with that. That is a lot of this happening. Okay, Charlene said, even when working for yourself, you still need a team. I agree with that. Amanda said, true healing is singular. Okay, you're 100% right. 10 years is a long time to be broken. At that point, it's not about that person. It's about your stubbornness. Agree? Again, Alan, they've had bad relationships that turned them against marriage.
I understand that. I'm saying that a lot of the people that's not getting married, young people, is not because they come from real bad broken marriages. I've been cheated on, you've been cheated on. That deter you from getting married? No. What I'm saying is this: a lot of people influence the younger generation not to get married because they want to go live their best life because they're not happy in their marriage. A lot of people not getting, it's not that they broken, it's the person who has influence over them that's broken. from a bad marriage.
Facts, and I gotta agree with that because even in the videos that I post when I say, "Are you blind or do you just not care?" Sometimes we gotta look at the outcomes that's happening. So if you're telling me that now there are some anomalies and there are some marriages that are just crazy, and that are out of this world, but I would say. I wouldn't say the majority, but I would say in my circle, I would say the majority of marriages are working. I see more brokenness when it comes to people that aren't married.
That's true.
I gotta keep it a buck. I gotta keep it a buck. I see more brokenness and dysfunction in people that aren't married.
That's true.
So when you say things in their life turning from a bad, it turning away from marriage, but what I would say, because see, my mindset is one, if I get fired from a job, do it turn me away from getting another one?
The bill come. Accountability.
You see, so what I'm saying, I understand it, but I think
You give it too much power.
I think we're giving that too much power. I think sometimes we give our trauma and what we went through in our past too much power.
I wish we would forgive marriage like we forgive friends. I've seen people who friends and done them dirty. They'll stay friends with them. They'll forgive them, move on, go do hot girl, hot boy trips, whatever you want to call it. But then when it comes to a spouse who did you wrong, I'm not gonna get mad because this person did me wrong. They took me through the gutter.
Okay. And the stage, it really speaks. It really speaks to how damaging an individual really is. It's not solely in giving power to another individual situation. The individual is broken beyond measure. There's an emotional connection and component that is severely affected. They can't bring peace to someone else when they don't have it for themselves. And Charlene said, and that this is why they're not married. And I second that. Amanda said, I'm going to tell my daughter to figure out what she wants and doesn't want before entering a marriage. However long it takes her will be up to her, because you can be in a marriage and not happy.
I'm going to encourage my daughter. Amanda,
Amanda, you was on the roll, and I was agreeing with everything. But go ahead, bro.
And guess what? I would not tell my niece any different than what, and I would just be quiet. But I'm going to teach faith to prepare yourself as a young woman to be a wife. Okay? I'm teaching my son as a young man, you need to seek a wife. Because I think it's very important for young people, because I don't want my daughter to have all these experiences with these different men. Because I don't care what you say, I know the word said don't have sex before marriage. I want to ask anybody on here who did it. Who did it?
Most of us ain't waiting till we.
Who did it?
Most of us in our teenagers.
18, 19,
Right, most of
20.
us, right.
So this is what's going to happen. They're going to start experiencing things that they enjoy. But then they're going to find themselves in relationships and in and out of relationships with people who's taking advantage of them because they're not looking for a husband. They're not looking for a wife. And what you take, you're taking soul ties with you. You're taking experiences with you. Then guess what, Jay? All those experiences, by the time you're 30, you're looking for your husband to give you all those experiences. And he might not be able to get that to you. And guess what? You're not the one that's for you because he's not pleasing you sexually in the marriage, bro.
Well, she said this. I'm a divorcee, so if you've not been down that road, you can't speak on that. Many people seek wives, but in the wrong places. We want husbands, but don't choose quality.
She said, I'm a divorcee, so if you've not been down that road,
You can't speak on it.
that's not so. I can speak on brokenness. Okay, well, I'm not a divorcee, so I can speak on a successful marriage. That would be an arrogant statement of mine, right? If I'm not divorcee and I'm married, that means I can speak on what you should look for and what a person should be to be married sustainably, right? Since I can't speak on a divorce, since I've never been divorced, but I'm still in a marriage, right? For 13 years.
Right.
So if we want, but I feel like I shouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? I should take the advice and take and say, okay, I get that, or I disagree with that. But what I'm telling you is that I understand the brokenness from being broken by someone. All I'm saying is I think our young people need to, coming out of school, need to prepare themselves to be in relationships with a man or a woman in a marriage. That's just what it is.
And I'll say this, and I 100% agree with you. I think you should get married young. Young is better. It's tougher, but it's better for the long run.
MJ,
It is. Okay, now, because, I'll be transparent. I got married at 30. Before that, I had 2 children. So you're right. So then what happens is through life, because you're younger, you kind of make it harder for yourself and you go through things. Now, what Amanda is saying, when you say, I don't care how long it takes, I don't think that's the right advice, because we do know this. This is science. It's not me. This is science. A woman's biological clock ticks.
that's right.
And just like you're saying, Amanda's saying, wait till she longer. But we know that when you're talking about marriage, it's kind of like, I look at marriage like the career of a running back when it comes to women and men. It's 2 different lanes. The career of a running back is short when it comes, because when you get married, you want to have kids, because you don't want her to have kids out of wedlock. So you want her to have kids married. So then it becomes harder. And we all know, man, you can attest, your patience is different when you get older. So, and I will say, back to what you said, you're right, because the experiences are detrimental more. Because I'll say this, if we're telling people wait too long to get married, then why are more single women living in dysfunction? Why do more single women and single mothers, why are they the hardest to marry? Because let's be honest, if you was a wife with kids, a man gonna come and say, she's valuable enough for me to marry her with 1, 2, 3, 4 kids.
That's right.
Seen it happen. If you're a wife. So why is it that in the numbers and the results is showing that as the woman gets older, and 9 times out of 10, let's keep it a buck, the longer she waits, the more chances she gonna have kids before she gets married. That makes it harder. So now she has to even be more walking. The more kids you have before you get married, the more you got to walk into that wife. So Amanda's okay. She said again, Alan, advice would be from watching someone not by firsthand experience. Firsthand is always harder, but it sticks because they aren't willing to change their ways. They're set in it. Exactly. So that goes to what Alan was saying. Now what happens is, let's just keep it a buck. When you have more experience, you compare. It's kind of like leaving one job. If I made $14 an hour one job, my next job I want to make higher. My next job I want to make higher than that, and so on. It's just like that when you're waiting to get married. The more partners you have, the more your husband is compared to. You get what I'm saying? But if y'all learn more together, y'all grow together, then it's a whole different ballgame.
Just say by treating my wife right, I'm giving my daughter an example of what to look for in her husband.
Correct.
Yes, to a certain extent. Because guess what? At the end of the day,
Right.
in Kim's eyes, I would never be Mr. Jolly. Mr. Jolly tell my wife to take out that trash, what she gonna do? She gonna get take out trash. He said, Kim, could you fix me something to eat right now or do them dishes? It's a dictatorship. Father, yes. I got qualities of Mr. Jolly. I'm country with this and that. But at the end of the day, a marriage is something that you're not prepared for, that you got to be willing just to go through the class.
Right.
I can look at a man and say, he reminds me of my daddy, or she reminds me of my mother, but they're not. The dynamics of the relationship is different.
So let me ask this, just playing devil's advocate for a man, and we appreciate you. Come on, man. Y'all, the lawyer, y'all lawyer. Amanda, Angel, Jeff, y'all lawyer. So why, this just as a community, not saying personally, but why don't we have that same mindset when it comes to teaching our daughters not to have children? Just hear what I'm saying. If we're saying now, I know you're gonna say, well, I'm gonna teach my daughter not to have kids. Cool, but I'm talking about as a whole, over 50% of black women are single mothers. Listen to what I'm saying. Why do we teach? Because you're right. You'll see an auntie and cousin say, don't get mad, don't do this, don't do that, right? But ain't nobody helping her with birth control. Ain't nobody teaching her. You know what I'm saying? So what? Right. So, but we'll have that mindset when it comes to marriage.
That's right.
But when it comes to kids,
I've heard women say, do what you need to do to get what you want. But then they tell you don't be married. What kind of mess is that? When the marriage, you want to get what you want the right person, you want to get what you want. And you work together. You'll tell a woman, I know aunties tell other women, girl, flirt with him. He'll do this for you, he'll do that. That's going to lead them to a certain path. But then the same auntie will tell them, don't marry him. Ain't no trouble.
and I'll ask this because Angel said something up there in the comments. She said we don't really speak how damaged they really is and what they've seen and what pretty much what they've been taught. But like I've said in previous shows, we can talk. Okay, let me read this from Amanda. We should be teaching our daughters not to procreate and not be married. She'll know because I'm going to tell her. If I need to take her to the clinic to get birth control, I'll do that too. I'm with that, Amanda.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that. What I'm saying is, when it comes to when I'm going back to this damage thing, what we've learned, right? Because I really want to touch on this, and I want the women to really help me out because I really don't understand why it is overlooked. So we talk about damage. What I've learned, Amanda have said it before. I ain't putting the business out there. What I was taught by my dad, I didn't see my dad this. So I took on pretty much not masculine traits, but she took on some go-getness because she saw her dad do it. No matter what condition he was in, no matter what struggling out, she saw her dad do it. Right? That is what she learned. Angel said some people go through damage situations. They taught this, they've seen this, and whatever the case is. Right? So we're supposed to, cool. So why is it that when a man has been taught to hunt his whole life,
I always said it.
why they don't take that as not an excuse? They don't take that into consideration when it comen to men infidelity. Somebody please help me.
That's the only reason why they're telling daughters not to get married. Because at a young age, they feel like men are not ready to withhold the physical aspect and be fully faithful to them. That's the only reason, bro.
Right.
It's no other reason. It's no other reason, bro. I guarantee a woman can't tell me another reason. The only reason why these women are telling their daughters not to be married because they feel like a 23, 24, 25-year-old is not ready to withstand himself from women outside to be fully faithful to their daughters. If I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong.
Agree.
Please.
But
But we've been taught. I always said we've been taught. A man from day one has been taught how to hunt. All his life, and I told him, we as men today, I got to teach AJ around 16, 17, you got to dial it back to prepare yourself for marriage. We recognize that, bro. But we have been taught. Go get that girl. Go holler, because she turn you down. Go to the nest, this and that. And then when he finally get it, right? He got he got to slow down. What I'm saying is that, but we don't get a pass from that.
right.
We don't get a pass from it. I'm not asking for a pass. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, recognize that just because this man might have an issue with the physical, that don't mean you don't love that young lady.
Right, and see, and these conversations, like, I'm gonna just be honest, and I guess you disagree with what she said. Maybe y'all should stop teaching your sons to hunt and start being faithful and caring their wives. You're right, Amanda. Can I say this? I'm gonna say this: is you can't teach no one to be faithful. That cannot be taught. It's just like Amanda. Can anyone teach you how to be submissive?
That's something you got to be willing to do.
That's something you got to be willing to do. And what I'm saying is, it don't happen overnight. This is what I'm saying. Even when you get married, okay, let me. So she should be cheated on because he loved her. See, there goes the extreme. I want you to. wait, Amanda. I want you to answer why is it, because I know you have a son. We talking, and I know Nate Dogg. Tell Nate Dogg what's up. Why is it? Because Nate Dogg is on the football field. We telling him to go get it. Be ambitious. Okay? When he becomes of age, when he start dating like that, we have to tell him that, because, and I'm gonna tell you why men do this. Is you're right, we have to teach our sons to be faithful and loyal. We have to tell them, we can't teach them. But the reason we tell our sons that is because we know that it's gonna take some ambitiousness. It's gonna take some confidence to be a man in this world. If you don't have confidence, and if you can't take rejection as a man, you're gonna be in a shit world of trouble.
They don't understand. They don't understand this. They don't understand the kahunas it takes to see a pretty woman. Don't know her from nowhere.
They don't understand
Look
it.
across the room.
Yeah.
You got to get your butt up.
Right.
You got to go over there and say something to her.
Right.
That makes her feel like she'll say yes
Just to get the number,
anything. And then when you get there, she tells you no. See, women don't know how that feels.
Allen, women,
We don't know how that feels.
first of all, they have experienced it, and guess what they do? Flip the lid. You can't tell your wife no if she's ready to do it. I don't care if you work 15 hours. I don't care if you hurting. I don't care if you got a headache. You cannot tell your wife no. Women, they can't take rejection like men. And what I'm saying, it's not a gender war here. What I'm saying is it's two different lanes. So what I'm saying, just as men are understandable to the emotional lane of women. Not saying women are highly emotional, but they're majority of the time they're more emotional than men. How we take a back seat to the emotions at times. How we understand that when it comes to certain things running the household, it's better when and a lot of things we're at that woman's mercy. It runs better.
That's right.
How we are understanding, we have been taught, we yield to it. We have been taught to take predicate to a woman's emotion.
That's right.
Why isn't that same mindset? Because then it gets extreme. Like in the comments, you hear like so you hunting to find one you can be faithful to, or you hunting to divide and conquer? Well, you in different modes.
That's right. As a young you
Now let the record reflect, and let me let you understand this. When we find a wife,
for your son.
the mode is changed. The problem is, and it's not a problem, it's naturally. Anything happens over time.
That's right.
The thing with women is, this is what happens, bro. We are patient with them. She don't know how to cook when we first hook up. We let it ride. We let it ride. We give us some time. Women don't understand. Okay, we let it, even in the bedroom, they might not do everything. We give it time. Oh, we feel a little teeth. She'll get it. She'll get it, We patient with it, right? But the problem is, why isn't that same mindset bestowed upon us when you know that we have been pretty much going in one direction our whole life. So why don't you sit us down, or why don't you have that mindset of patience and understanding that we have with y'all?
Let me tell you
Why? Because most women
do not.
if a man told his wife or his significant other that he was attracted to another woman, she wouldn't want to have that conversation. Automatically, she's gonna be mad. Men cannot be totally honest with women about their true feelings. Really can't.
That's facts, man.
Really can't.
That's facts.
So let's be honest.
Facts.
Do women truly know men?
No.
Like men know women?
No.
See, like I always say this, and people can disagree with Amanda and Stage and all all the women who get the comment. But I'm gonna say this anyway. Men have been in class on who a woman is since elementary school, since we first got turned down.
That's facts.
We had to go home and reevaluate ourselves and change our approach. Women are not put in those predicaments that they have to be the hunters. So if you're not a hunter, you don't understand the hunter's mentality.
Okay, I'm gonna go. You're 100% right. Amanda said, "How do you change that mode? That mode happens more over time. More over time. It's growth. The problem is women look at it like a light switch.
Microwave.
Yeah. Okay. He been hunting his whole life. Matter of fact, that's how he got me. He approached me. He was confident. I liked the confidence. He was ambitious. He smelled good. He looked good. And then all that. Tim fade right, shoes right. But then the moment he says, "I'm yours," I expect all of that to completely go the opposite way. And Amanda, and see, a lot of podcasts not gonna say this. It happens over time. It doesn't change overnight. So yeah, we gonna bump our head, and sometimes we as husbands bump our heads with that. But I will be 100% honest when I say most husbands, where they were and where they are now, it's totally different.
I heard a woman say that one time. Let me tell you this. I heard a woman say this, Jay. A man cheated on a woman. She found out, and it happened years ago. She stayed with him because she said this. She said, "One thing guaranteed, you are not the man you was."
Go.
They've been married almost 50 years.
50 years.
Almost 50 years. Yes, now.
Look at that.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Look at that.
Come on, man.
Okay, let me read a couple of these. Amanda, she says, "So should you be marrying someone you can't be totally honest with?" I would say, see, because I'm gonna say totally honest, yes, because a lot of the things you don't learn about yourself until you in it.
That's right.
That's real, man. No one knows their complete self until.
No MJ, bro. No one knows 100% how to be married. Come on, man, this is not cool. Man, all of us didn't know how life was gonna go.
Right.
We talk about life, bro.
Right.
Life is doing some things and like, where that come from? We don't know.
And what I'm saying is, it should be growth. So if I'm 60% honest with you in year 1, year 3 I'm 70, year 5 I'm so right. There's nothing I can't tell you. And so what I'm saying is, and I think that's the difference between men and women. Women have the Disney fairy tale, Aladdin carpet ride, rub the bottle genie when it comes. And I'm not gonna say all women, a lot of women. See, Amanda, she has had experience in it, so she knows now. It ain't that, right? But a lot of women are okay. Gina said maybe men need to talk more. Guess what, Gina? Let me say this: when men talk, they counsel us. When men talk, we bashing women. We're talking down to women. So a lot of men, they don't want to talk. And I'm gonna be honest. Instead of them talking, they'll cheat. I'm just being honest.
When they show their emotional side, they become men.
Look how many
Memes.
times
Michael Jordan, Terrell Owens.
all them.
Yeah,
Look, you women laughing.
and they laugh.
So why should a man
Open his emotions and get ridiculed. Anastasia said, men feel that way and immediately, often more times than not, choose not be honest. I know my husband have found other women attractive. His human nature is not acting on attraction. Yeah, I think you can tell your spouse you're attracted to other women. I mean, yeah, other women. I think it's a level of respect with it, though. That's all it is. It's just a level of respect with it.
You know, I'm just using that as an example. Most men can't be truly honest with their wives.
I don't want to marry anyone that doesn't feel like no matter what stage he's at, he can't come to me. No matter the issue, thought, or self-doubt. Okay, I'm not saying he can't come to you, Amanda. What I'm saying is, see, right now you speaking in a different place, like I said, because you have experience. So, you in a different headspace now. But let's keep it a buck. In the beginning of any relationship, you are not as completely honest. It grows. It's like anything, bro. When I first started singing, I wasn't good. But as I kept in it, you know what I'm saying?
I think you grow into what Amanda's talking about.
Amanda said, I've always been the way, but let me say this. I will say, my father always taught me to be a man's piece. Okay, first of all, that video you sent me, Amanda, we're going to talk about that later. I got to show you that video. Ridiculous. Anyway, sometimes women can be, can I say this from a man's perspective? Because I know men, we have things we need to work on. I know this. We will. The number one thing we say it all the time we need to work on is conquering the physical when it comes to other. Man, we got to work on that. And I would talk for most men because I want to get men in trouble. It's tough. It is. It gets easier as the years go by. It gets easier as the years go by, but it is when you're used to a certain thing. That's with anything. It gets tough.
Jeff said we talk about everything. At Amanda's, y'all experience, y'all age, y'all
Right.
surely.
I'm talking about
young people.
Right.
we are
We are discouraging young people not to get married because we think
we think from our mindset. But we got 15 years in.
Right.
I'm talking about young people who want to get married at 23, 24, 25 years old. Oh no, you're too young. No, they got to go through life and marriage together to get to this point to say we communicate about everything. Because guess what? That young man who just got married, he might think twice like, I don't know if I should tell her this.
Right.
I don't know if I should say
Because
this.
what happens is we learn y'all. And see, I appreciate all the women saying this is what men need to do, but let's keep it on. Let me read Anastasia comment. Men often show that they're bothered in many different ways. Example, anger, frustration, and silence. Cheating as well, but not always. It's how I learned my own husband. But let me say this, y'all. Let me say this. See, women they ask for certain things, right? But when it's at their front door, it's not and this is what they have to work on. When you ask for something, be prepared for it because you want me to open up, you want me to share my emotions, you want me to do this, right? And then when I say something, you take it as a personal indictment on
Hey, I
yourself.
gotta say that I want to put some weight on this. My dad and my mom been married 39 years.
And
My dad said this in front of us, and I don't mind.
He said that
He always told my mom when she asked a question, do you want the truth?
Now,
I admit a lot of times, women, a lot of women, not all women, I never say all women,
right.
but a lot of times, they're not ready for the answer that you're going to give them. So I'm telling my dad was been married 39 years. He'll say, I always ask friends, is she ready for the answer? Or do you want the truth?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And my mama learned, don't ask a question, they're not ready for the answer.
Right.
You get what I'm saying, bro?
Right.
And I promise y'all, and to the women, I promise y'all, if y'all, like Amanda said, that's true. Sometimes, sometimes we respond wrong. And back to Anastasia, I'm telling you, it's not an excuse when I say this. I got to keep it a buck. The world don't care about men's feelings. That's one. I want y'all to think about it. The world don't care about men's feelings. They don't care about man's well-being. There is thousands of women's shelters. There are probably 5 men's shelters, homeless shelters. Let's keep it a buck, y'all. That's one. So when it comes to anger and frustration, yes, we do get anger and frustration, but let's be honest. When our emotions is put on the table too much, we looked at as weak. And when we don't share, we look at as closed. So then we get to a point where we self-absorb everything and we feel like we can handle it internally and we can't. So then that's where the frustration comes. And then that's where the silence comes. So if you want men as a whole to be more open, you see it, Alan. We see it on social media. Let's be honest. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. When he was there telling women what men want, they ridiculed him. But look at Derek Jacks. When he pandered to them, they praised him. See, what I'm saying is, women say, open up more, and then when you do, it's because you're asking for something you're not ready for.
That's true, bro. But look at all the women shows. They can tell me what they want all day. The View, the Talk.
Maury Povich was the #1 show for years. Ricky Lake was the #1 show for years. #1 show for years. What happens is it's a platform to tell men. Women can say they had what was the magazine? I know a man in them know. The women's magazine started with a C, Cosmo something. They had all these magazines and everything. But when the quote unquote manosphere, as they say, come along, and now men are starting to speak how they really feel, we're women bashers, or they are putting women down, or that, especially in our culture.
I got to say this, because we're going to talk about this. When we said we were going to speak on why is the black men marrying more women outside of their race today.
I'm gonna tell you
I'm going to tell you why.
I know I'm
gonna get some flap, but whatever cares. It's because the men do not see the women of their mothers and grandmothers. Men are looking for a culture. They're not looking for a color. Simple as that. Ooh. They're looking for a culture. When you go to South Georgia, they're looking for that country, and men from the South. You go to Montezuma, Georgia, Selma, Alabama, New Orleans, Baton Rouge. They're looking for that type of woman. So they go around here to Dominican. They go around to Brazil, and they seeing women that have not been modernized. See the black, I got my country wife. I don't care 2 millions about it. I'm just telling you what I see. Right. They look around and they see that the American black woman has been modernized. They too independent for them. But when they go now, you see more black men are traveling abroad than anything. Mm-hmm. So they're going around the world and saying, man, this culture reminds me of what I grew up in.
Man, it's facts, bro.
So guess what? They're marrying that now.
It's facts, bro.
They're not looking for a color. You tell the black men, why you not marrying black women like that? See the women that grandmothers and mothers. But guess what? The women and mothers, those women ain't good enough for the modern black women today. They feel like those women, Coretta Scott King and Allen Louise, they were simps.
Yeah.
And
I give you that, because most of the time when you hear say that, you say most women say, oh, we ain't taking what grandma. We ain't taking what grandma.
I'm not my ancestor.
And I'm like, wait a minute. So grandma
not took care of me.
I don't.
She's good, clean. You know what I'm saying? She was right about.
And then I'm
going to go back to the infidelity. That's the only thing they can hold in the past, bro.
Right.
I'm talking about, if one girl said that Martin Luther King was not a good man because he cheated on Coretta Scott King, all the things Martin Luther King did. Think about it, bro.
Let's go, because Amanda say Anastasia preaching. That's where finding the right individual partner comes in handy. That is the refuge you find when your house is a home. The emotional. Yeah, Jeff, you're right. Cosmo, that was the magazine. Amanda say, Anastasia, where's your offering plate? You preaching today? I'm serving all day. And said the culture boy. But yeah,
Bruh.
but see, here's the thing. I know we.
I would ask women on here, are you your ancestor?
Are you
Coretta?
Aline, those great women. You consider yourself that kind of
And see, I'll say this: us modern day men, we not looking for 100% of that. See, one thing about men, it's always negotiable.
It's always.
We always know. Okay, let's see. We don't care who y'all marry. We're crossing those lines on regular. The issue is guys are marrying women who appropriate the culture and hate on black. Hate on black women.
Hate on black women. Boy.
First of all, let's keep it. Let's dissect this. We don't care who y'all marry. Wrong. Y'all always saying something when black men cross cultures, but you praise the white man that get a black girl. Let's just throw that out there. He gone. Come on, man.
What's her name?
Yeah, Mark. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Out of here.
There was a black man in Africa with a white woman. Oh, God.
But look, when now Megan over there in England. Oh, we in the palace now, y'all. Come on, bro. That's why, Amanda. Next, we're crossing those lines in record numbers too. No, you're not, because you're not getting married at the same rate. The issue is you guys are marrying women who appropriate the culture and hate on black women. Negative. If you look at, listen, I'm gonna say this. If you look at majority of the black women that are married, they're not even saying they aren't even saying anything about the culture of black women. So what black women are hating? She said the white women are hating on black, or the women that we're marrying across the culture. They don't hate on black women because you know what? They don't care about black women. Because black women are behind the 8 ball right now. I don't care how you slice it, bro.
Because they don't have a culture. Their culture is making stag and
Yeah, so that's not true. Because I'll be honest, they don't find black women as a threat. Listen, when you winning, you don't care about who's number 3. When you got the gold medal, you don't care about the silver and the bronze. You don't care about that, bro. So when you talk about the white women, the Indian women, like Trish, like when he sent us the video.
Oh, man, that's not our culture.
Yes, it is. Don't see. Look, bro. People gotta realize you gotta do your Amanda. That's not our culture. That's what you focus on. Well, I want to know what you're talking about.
No, but you're saying actually the percentage of black women marrying white men has doubled. Look it up. I'm giving you that, but the percentage of black women in total getting married has dropped tremendously.
That's right.
But black men are married at the same rate.
That's right.
That's so you're looking at, okay, if the percentage of black, I'm just hypothetically, if the percentage of black women 50 years ago were married at an 80% rate, and only, let's say, 3% was married, outside of their race, that means 77% were married in a race and 3% was outside. But now, let's say it's 8% married outside of their race. But if only 49% of black women are married, that don't mean right. You done got worse. You looking at 1%.
Yeah, you can look at a couple of Johnny and they came to the barbecue and like it, they married. Okay, we can get that.
Okay. Hold up, Marvin. Let them answer your brother question. Are you? Hey, Aaron.
They don't think they are, bro. They don't think Coretta Scott King, Alan, all them was not the modernized black woman. The black woman today does not identify with that woman. They feel like that woman was sensitive. They feel like they were weak. They do. They just real talk. So now what black men are doing, they're going across the border, finding women like Coretta Alan, because the same culture. Same culture. The country, and they're marrying those women.
Amanda said that's not our culture. That's what you focus on. First of all, men don't focus on. We don't care about that. That's more the women saying that, just to be honest. Megan is not my culture. Okay. That's not who I look up to. Respect or look at as someone who would take us further as black women. Okay, well, what does that look like, Amanda? Because let me be honest. The modern black woman today don't respect the black women that can take us further. So because check this out. When it's time to get held accountable, the women that are trying to take you further gets canceled. I don't like everything about Ayana Van, whatever her name was. But when she told black women are out of order, they canceled her. When Monique, I don't like everything she did. But when she said y'all stop wearing these bonnets and flip flops in the airport, they ridiculed her. So what I'm saying is, go ahead.
And black women, like Amanda, didn't get on their social media and say, we agree with Monique.
We agree with Monique.
But where they at?
In hiding.
Hide. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. We agree with Monique. Y'all stop going to the grocery stores to the airport with these bunnies and these pajamas on.
Right.
Come on, bro. You ain't never seen my mama go to the store with pajamas on. Never. Come on, man. Never. Come out the house with pajamas on, Jay.
But then, man, I ain't even gonna. Okay, This is what Anastasia said. I am my ancestor. I have all the foundations of them with the evolution to function in today's society to serve beside my husband. Okay, so let me ask you this, Anastasia. You are your ancestor. Okay, you have all the foundations of them with the evolution to function in today's society to serve beside my husband. So why isn't it working for black women then? If you have all the foundation, you have all the answers and the evolution. So basically she's saying, I can take a piece of them and evolve, okay, to function in today's society to serve beside my husband. Why isn't it happening?
That's right.
Let me know. Amanda said we are ancestors, but unless we let y'all lead without question, y'all tell that's not true. We don't like to lead without question. A great leader always puts input. I don't know where they're getting this from. That it's a dictatorship with men and show me this man. Are they watching too many Tyler Perry movies?
I need y'all to
Show me this man that comes in and say, dictatorship, you doing everything by my book, and I'm not gonna even ask your opinion. They never met him. He fake, bro. He fake. He fake. How y'all gonna tell us who we respecting? Are y'all women? Y'all are not publicly coming out and defending the women that are saying, because she said, and Ayana and Monique had a lot of backing. Y'all folks on the smoke. No, show me the backing. Please show me the proof. Because most of the women, I know, what's the show? The View said something about them. Not The View. What's the show with? The Real said something about Monique on that. I can pull it up, send you the clip, Amanda. Also, the show with Vivica Fox and Vivica Fox and the other lady said something about Ayana. Yes. And they ridiculed Ayana, saying how are black women out of order. When Ice Cube went on there, said he met with Donald Trump, that same show said, well, where's the stuff for the black woman? All of that, they ridiculed him for that. Listen, I can go example after example after. We can even go to Kevin Samuels. Say what you want to say. You didn't like his tone, you didn't like his delivery, but what he was saying was true, bro. And they crucified him from left to right, dog. It is what it is. Who said it wasn't working? Because we choose not to marry. You don't choose to marry.
That's right.
Women choose. Look, let me know.
Women choose who to have sex with.
Men have the door to marry.
This is
Hey, you said what you want to say.
point blank.
You can't disagree with it.
It's working for this black woman, Anastasia. That's not the problem. We always say you're 100% right, but we're talking about as a whole. As a whole, look at the statistics and look at the outcome of the black woman today. Listen, the percentage of black women compared to every other, especially to white women, as far as numbers, is crazy. White women, we already know they're outnumbered. But the most single mothers are black. The most teen pregnancies are black. The least married are black. So I don't want to hear that, because when you come on here, it's just like me. I don't cheat on my wife, right?
We've been raising them for the last 30 years.
We'll talk about that later. Over 55, 60% of black men who are in jail were raised by single mothers. So please tell me.
What they say working? What's working?
I don't know. She said it's working for this black woman. What I'm saying is, it could be working for you, but I'm talking about the majority.
She said for corporate.
Okay.
We speaking corporate, we speaking individual.
See, Anastasia, they don't want to hear about where it is working. Y'all concentrate. Tell me where it's working.
Corporately.
Please, tell me where it's working.
Corporately.
Actually, the most teen pregnancy is no longer black. Okay. I'll look at the numbers on that. But last time I looked at the census, black teen pregnancy was in the mid-teens, and I think the next demographic was like 11%. But that's the last time I looked. But it's been a couple of years. I'll be sending the both of you videos on where it is working. Please send me the videos. Can you say something in here where it's working?
I'm talking about marriage. Women being married.
Yeah, I don't know.
Taking care of kids and their dogs. Accountable to no one.
Ed said Kevin singing 100. He was, bro. Okay. So, Cuzzo is in here. So, to the black woman, question. So, is this part of the reason why y'all leaving us in great numbers to go be with white men?
They don't speak on that. They don't speak on stuff like that. Finn 4K, I know who that is. They don't speak on things like that. They're not gonna answer that. It's our fault.
It's our fault.
And
Our
I'm
fault.
saying on this,
It's
I'm
not
not
changing
changing.
it.
The modern day black
Black
woman
woman don't care about whoever disagree with me on this. The modern day black woman does not want to identify of the black woman that was born in the 20s, 30s, 40s. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Amanda says this is I guess the answer to Finn 4K. She says this the answer to Finn 4K. We leave to have more options. Okay,
Y'all
so
be
Y'all
submissive to
listen to that white man,
man,
but you won't be submissive to the black man.
not due to lack of interest. That's what Amanda said, and Angel said they don't want to hear. We don't want to hear what? What do we don't want to hear? I'm trying to see what we don't want to hear. Because if you want to go marriage, if you just want to go marriage now, y'all, the black woman is the least married.
Least.
So what are we not trying to hear?
So why
Is the black, what do y'all think the reason is black women are the least married?
That's a good question. And we're going to let them answer this. Please, before we leave, please tell me the reason y'all, because the numbers are there. We all know that. Can we all agree with that on the comments? The numbers are there where it is declining for our community, especially for the black woman. So tell me why, what is the reason that black women are not getting married at the same rate? Anastasia said, we submit to the right man. Color doesn't matter, like you said. Okay. Hold on. Amanda J. Wow. Options. Y'all need to realize how important y'all are to this planet and the existence to the original man of the planet. Exactly. Walk in your light. The problem is, it's not happening right now. Finn 4K, I'm sorry, it's not happening. The Carter B's are at the top, the image of the black woman. Go ahead.
Go down. Read what Amanda just said.
All I hear is how black women are not their ancestors and not up to par. We ain't getting married, and we are too stubborn. But all of you are married to black women.
And that's why
we can speak on it.
Because we don't see the black women like our wives being represented as the black woman in the forefront today.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right.
Because the Cardi B's and the Megan Stallions and everybody that's twerking on Instagram, Facebook, and all that, they say the black woman is the independent woman who no one can tell them nothing. They are not the representation of, they should not be the representation of our culture.
Yeah, and
that's what it is. It's not taking it. We all are meant to black women. You know, I say the black woman is the greatest gift God has ever created.
That's right.
And it's hands down for me. But what I'm saying is, a lot of the times we as a community, it's like when we are getting held accountable, it's like we hate. it's like we bashing, and we can't be like that. See, certain conversations need to be had, just like Fin4. Amanda said, Fin4K, we know how important we are. Y'all forget how to treat us as such. And then Fin4K say it's a two-way street.
That's all we say. It's a two-way street.
And that's all we saying. It's a two-way street.
See, America's making this seem, but we're talking about corporately. Corporately, man. When we look around corporately, how is the outlook of black women in this world? The black American woman. Let's be honest with ourselves.
And look, this is what I'm gonna do Tuesday on my segment. I just got some. Tuesday, I'm gonna write some lyrics down and on all the music of the top of the charts right now. And I'm gonna show you, because I was listening to Satellite Radio today, and I heard a lot of women the songs, man, and how they are saying they don't need no man, this, that, and the third. This is the image of the woman, Amanda. So it's not about if we care about something, we have to tell the truth, right? We have to stand on it. So what I'm saying is, no, not at all. We want to see y'all in y'all rightful place. And what I'm saying, let's keep it a buck. That's not where it is right now. Charlene said black women don't respect black men, point blank. Black women don't want to submit. Black women want to sit back and not have to work on themselves.
Because a lot of black women say, I don't like that word submit. But guess what? The rest are keeping their mind saying submit. Alan Grease in mind saying submit.
I've never said we couldn't do better, but you never catch me bashing a black man on a public forum.
Not bashing.
Tell me how that bashing. So if I got up here and I'm showing the numbers, I've showed the numbers plenty of times. If I got up here and I showed, watch this. If I got up here and I showed the amount of killings that the influence of rap music has done. If I showed the amount of violence the gangs has contributed. If I came up here and showed that, right, we didn't talk about it. If I came up here and showed that, but then if I come up here and say, because we have said the black is all about the black family. That needs to be number one in our culture. Black family.
We always say, if you're not about the black agenda, you got to be about the
black family first. Then have we not got up here and said, the number one thing we need to work on is cheating.
That's right.
Infidelity. Keep it in the pants, men.
So we got on the black man.
So we done got on the black men. We done took our stands and say you should be about, if you pro-black, you should be about the black family. We said the black church was the cornerstone of the black community. It's not like that no more. We just have not focused on women. We have focused on the total ring. You said gangster rap has contributed to a lot of things that's detrimental to our society. When we get up here and talk about that, we get praised. Cool. Kudos. And we can hold ourselves accountable. But the moment we start holding women accountable, bro.
What we're saying is this. Look, I'm married, I've been married 13 years. I would not be the man that I am without Kimberly Dion Reese as a black, successful woman. She is my rock.
Amen. Amen.
I look at her every day and say, man, I'm glad I told her that, man, when I look at her and I see you, I know everything will be okay. And she said, vice versa.
Now, why?
And all I'm saying is that is not what I see. That what I'm looking at is not what I see in the world today out of a lot of black women. Okay. That's what we're saying.
100% right. I want to go. However, every time I pull up social media, I see black men talking down about black women in record number. Now, watch this. Where was the black women?
Come on, bro.
When they were making songs like No Scrubs?
That's right.
Where were the black women when all of these shows, the Maury Povich and the Ricky Lakes, and let's keep it a buck. I like Tyler Perry as a businessman and what he has done for himself and the black culture, but a lot of his movies have put black men in a bad light, and they have done record numbers. So where are the black women when the black men?
When the pulpit,
the church was talking about the black men.
I'm a minister. Let's go there.
So
they use the pulpit as a sword against the
black men. So what I'm saying is, Where if y'all want us to calm down and y'all want us to have the back and this and the third, what about the 30 years that we've been taking even the good men?
Even the good men, Father's Day, when they preach, take care of kids.
You see what I'm saying? Where was the parade then? Now when men are speaking, hey, I want to go to what Fin 4K said. See, it's not about race. You're right. It's about survival, and for us to continue to exist through the womb of the original Mother Nature, the black woman. What I'm saying, why can't we say, "Hey, black woman, you are number one"? But in the overwhelming majority of what we are seeing in our image, in our TV, on our radio, in our schools, it's not pleasing. These are some foundational things that we feel is wrong or that you can correct so we can get you back to your rightful place.
That's right.
Because what you don't want, and then what happens is when we go outside our race, you dog those black men.
That's right.
But then you can't even tell your own queens nothing. So you can't tell your queens nothing. Then when the black men go outside their race, they get dogged. And then it's way bigger than a woman feeling like she's not being treated right. It's about what needs to be done. Black women have a duty to the Most High, the black man and the planet, man. Hey, man. Hey. Anastasia said, we are not glorifying these women. It's what is being put out there for entertainment purposes and tearing down the community. That is not true. It is glorified through every aspect of the black woman's being right now.
Angela, let's be honest. I got to say something, Anastasia, on that. On that comment. Right now with social media, individually, and corporately, let's say we have more of control over our image than ever before. Nobody watch TV no more. Not really. Social media.
Right.
You go to social media.
Go to social media.
What a lot of black women do with their own social media.
Right. Right, bro. Right, bro.
What being naked got you doing?
Right.
What they got to do with you getting
Right,
bad?
bro. Right, bro.
You get what I'm saying?
100% right.
Well, let's be honest, we have control of our own image now, bro.
And then Anastasia says part of the reason the type of music is on top is because it's what is getting airplay. The corporate is in charge. Whites predominantly are pushing that type of music. It's not black women. Listen to what I'm saying. You're right to a certain extent, but what they push is what we consume. If we weren't consuming in large numbers, they wouldn't push it. Just like Alan said, look at the social media. How many Cardi B's do you see on social media?
That's right.
How many city girls do you see on social media? How many of them do you see in Walmart and on the street? How many you see in the mall? How many you see in the airport? Listen, see, and this is the problem. It's like men, we have to take accountability. That's our journey, bro. It's accountability and results for us. Accountability and results on our journey. With women, it's like accountability is like a different language, man.
Can't talk. Why we can't have this conversation?
Why?
What's so bad about this conversation? What's so bad about it? Why is it that women can tell us to keep our pride in the pants and do this and we gotta take it? We gotta be a man to take those words and listen. But as soon as we say something, we bash it. Where's the bash? Have we called black women by their names?
No, not one time.
Have we said something that was inappropriate?
Not one time.
We always state things that we see in our community that needs to be fixed.
And matter of fact, when you number one, it's kind of like I'll use the basketball analogy. Right now, of course they say Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Well, we know if he's the GOAT, do you think he really cares about 2 and 3 and 4? He don't care. So this is what I'm saying. When we say the black woman is number one, make no mistake about it. But we saying you need to work on your post-up shot better. You need to get back to your jump shot. You need to get back in the gym, get back to small ball. So what I'm saying, if any man should be able to pull your coattail a little bit, it should be the one who've been experiencing black women all his life. My mother is black, my aunties are black, my wife is black, my daughters are black. So why can't someone, it's kind of like when you go, if you want to learn about music and you had to sit and you had a opportunity to sit with Quincy Jones, wouldn't you want to do that?
Can I say something? And this is not disrespecting no one.
Mm-hmm.
But black women listen to Vice President. She married to a white man. And I'm not disrespecting.
Right.
We look at some of our great leaders. Thurgood Marshall. He was married to a Hawaiian.
Maya Angelou, married to a white man.
Married to a white man. We never have no one that has all black in them being the voice for the black family. Who represents the black family? Now, me and you represent the black family. We getting bashed, saying that we disrespecting the black family. Our wives are black. But we'll listen to Vice President.
Right.
We'll listen to Maya Angelou. A black man wasn't good enough for her. Vice President, a black man ain't good enough for her. Who else? Look at Claire Thomas up and sitting up in there with his wife.
Right.
You know, she treason him, but that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
But me and you, married black women, got black kids, stay in predominantly the richest black county in America. And guess what? We wild with black people. But because we speaking truth to our people, guess what? We're bashed. But guess what? They're gonna walk out here, and if Kamala Harris say something, they gonna listen to it. But we as black people, we black, we believe in black people.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just not black women, because we got on here and we talked about gangster rap. We talked about that. I came on here and talked about black women and men coexisting. I came in here. My last show was about black fathers. I did a show black women. Like it's nothing about it. It's the problem. This is what it is. This gets the most noise. That's why you hear us talk about it, because this gets the most comments, and this get. You know what I'm saying? So then it may seem one way, but that's not it. Like Fan 4K just said. Yes, you are leaving the community and recognize this is why we can't hear each other, black men, because we invite the noise from all other races and cultures in. Let's take care of ground zero together. We are all at fault. I 100% agree.
And we talk about our
faults.
I said when men was the head of the community, guess what? We had arrogance about ourselves. We couldn't be faithful. I don't even say that the other week. As formerly we did a terrible job. Then I said that, go back and listen to the videos. So I got on black men about that. Our fathers and grandfathers now do a great job of being leaders as far as with our women and being faithful and adhering to their needs. We said that. But okay, it's okay to say that to black men. No one said you was bad to black men. But as soon as we say, well, we feel like the black woman needs to do this more, now we bash. Come on, man. We have to be able to, each black men and black women have to be able to take constructive criticism.
Right. And that's the thing. That's what it boils down to. Like Fan 4K say, let's take care of ground zero together. The problem is we got to try to come to some common ground. And this is the problem, because I don't think it was a problem as it is now that it was back in the day. Yeah, you had some anecdotal experiences where women, you always had your women out there. Like your Marilyn Monroe was Marilyn Monroe. I know she was white, but she entertainers and has always been here.
Magic City is a historical site in Atlanta. It's been there since the early 1980s, late 1970s. The entertainment, their place in the community, they knew their place. We didn't put the entertainment woman above the common white, the Clarence Huxtable, the Coretta Scott. Everybody knew their place, bro. But now we were somewhere with the government and what they done.
Right.
They taking that entertainment woman and said, this is what we want these women to be.
Right.
I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm saying can we recognize that and say this is not what we want to represent our community, and we're not raising our daughters like this.
And that's what we're saying.
That's all we're saying.
That's what we're saying. Okay, Amanda said I agree with Fin4K with all that fault that the media believe it's all the black man's fault. I don't know if she meant black man. That's why all we do is argue black. That's 100% right. I agree. Let's sit down and really hear each other. And that's what we need to do. And see, Amanda, and I'm going to leave that comment up there. That's what we need to do. The problem is, and I'm trying to be honest.
I gotta say something.
The problem is we're trying to speak, and we're trying to tell you, Alan, me and you can just shut up and go in the closet, right? We married black women successfully, kids, family of our own, right? We can just shut up and say, you know what? Go in the closet. But guess what? We got black daughters who got to live in this modern society and all of this, right? The problem is when we speak and we say certain things, it's like we're bashing. Amanda said, but telling black women what they are not and how we are not our ancestors is not solving the problem.
Amanda, black women say that. I'm repeating what black women be saying. They say they got their ancestors. They say it's not correct to stop killing those women of the past. These are what a lot of black women say. They feel like those women are weak because a lot of those men cheated on them. So that's what I'm repeating what a lot of black women say today.
Right, they say, it's kind of like even when what's the girl name when she got in there and talked about Dr. King and said he wasn't a good leader because word was he wasn't faithful to his wife, so that means he wasn't a good leader. And see, these are the things that men have been hearing for years. You know what I'm saying? We hear the real ones do. Stop worrying about the women who are out here not being example. Not everyone can be saved. Once they really start this movement, they'll get on board. Fin4K agree with a man. I disagree with that. Because what's happening is, yeah, the real ones hear us. I'm agree with that. But what's happening is the real ones are silent. So what's being perpetuated is as if the fake ones are getting put on the top. Think about this. We always say it. Megan Thee Stallion got an NAACP Image Award. Not just an NAACP award, bro. An NAACP Image Award. They performed WAP on the BET Award. And see, that's all we're saying. And to be honest, we're not talking about women like Amanda. We're not talking about women like Anastasia. We ain't talking about them type of women. The problem is when we're saying men don't marry the Cardi B's and the Megan Thee Stallions, but the image of them are being perpetuated as the top women. What black men are saying, that is not what is a success. That's not what we want. That's not what a successful black woman is. We speaking for women like Amanda and Anastasia, but it's that sister code.
And I see people for this, we got to understand this too. The whole system is intertwined. We not worried about it. Let's stop sending our kids to public school.
Thank you.
Because if the government, if the people that's in charge giving the NAACP awards to Megan Thee Stallion saying this is what we want to represent the black woman today, that same system has influence over the school system. They plan Megan Thee Stallion on paragraphs. They plan that it's all connected. So are we going, as a black people, we're going to separate ourselves fully from the system and go back to the 30s, 40s, and 50s and start putting our kids back in the schools and churches? I'm saying, what are we going to do to shield our kids? We're talking about worry about the next. What are we going to do to shield? What are we going to do to shield our kids from this?
Right, and Fin4K said it's about survival. I guess it's about survival for our kind. Amanda said maybe you should
say kids.
Oh, for our kind. Well, it's kids first. I guess he mistyped it first. Maybe you should talk more about women like us and less about the misguided image we planning to.
We
No.
have, but we have talked about women like y'all.
This is the thing. But see, okay, so let me ask you a question, Amanda. When you hear about, cause let's keep it a buck. When you
Men are in her DMs.
Men are in
But they don't make
DMs don't mean nothing.
Don't mean
DMs don't mean nothing. It's quality and quantity. Every woman got. I was gonna say every woman got men in their DMs. Hey, whatever. DMs don't mean. Some of those raw apples shouldn't affect the end game. But this is what I'm saying, Fin 4K. They are by majority. So this is what I'm saying. When we hear about men, okay, let me ask you a question, Amanda. Just hear me out right quick. Do you hear when you hear about on the social media, when you hear about men, do you hear more about the faithful men, or do you hear more about the men that has practiced infidelity? Okay, so, but do you hear us men say, hey, focus on the faithful men? No, because guess what's happening? The majority of men are practicing infidelity. So even us faithful men, we have to own up to it. And guess what we do? We put ourselves in. Hey, us men got to do better. Us men got to do better with infidelity, right? But why when it comes to women, we say focus on the good.
Not bad.
But what's happening majority? And what are our kids growing up in?
Y'all keep on, y'all. Listen, man. I don't want to live in. I'm tired of living in a world that my grandparents now can't go to the store and these young disrespectful men and women don't know how to act. Think about it, man. Think about it, bro.
Amanda asks, are the majority of women city girls? The majority of modern women have the city girl mindset. They don't all practice the same thing. Like they all ain't out there. Like one song I heard, I'm in a tank top with no bra walking down the street. I heard another, and let's be honest, Amanda, it depends. I mean, majority of them. Okay. I'm not saying majority of them city girls, right? But let's keep it okay. The city girl image is making it go down. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't just quote me. Look at the numbers. If more of our women are being single mothers, and then you look at them, they are taking the image of I don't need no man. I'm gonna go get my bag. Listen.
I see Fin 4K say each one teach one. He agree with Amanda, but I was about to say Fin 4K. I was about to say this. I was promoting teaching my daughter at a young age to be a wife. But
Majority of women saying no. And see, that's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, if majority of women are telling me I'm wrong as a father, to raise my daughter to be a wife at a young age and have yourself ready, and I'm teaching my son to get yourself ready at a young age to be a husband, and majority of women telling me no, I'm gonna let my child do what they want to do when she's ready. How each one teach one?
Right.
How we teach? How we gonna bring the family back together in representation of our forefathers, our grandparents and parents? How we gonna do it?
Because
tell them no, don't teach them to be wise early. Wait till they get 30.
and so. And what Fin 4K said, each one teach one. The problem is each one is teaching one, but then majority of the people are going against what you're teaching. So we way over our time, y'all. We can go all night.
You're teaching your daughter to be a wife. But we tell them don't get mad, y'all. I'm telling you, that's the best thing. A lot of people I've been most successful. I know my cousin, Ken, man. I've been listening as a man for years. Mr. Lee Jolly, they've been married for 50 years, got married in their early 20s. Our parents got married in their early 20s. Our grandparents got married in their early 20s. They have a perfect life, no.
Right.
But look what they produce, right?
Right.
Look what they produce.
Right.
They sacrifice. Look what they produce. Yeah. Were they always happy? No. Was it always good times? No. But look what they produce.
Right.
What I'm saying, we're going to put ourselves in a predicament to produce great fruit. And I don't care what nobody's saying. Say going through life at a young age with a person like mine and going through the struggle together produces a mindset that can produce. We talking about each one teach one. That's the epitome of each one teach one, bro.
And I'll say this. Amanda said, meaning they may not teach them to be mad young, but the overall thought to be mad period should be the goal. Yeah, facts.
Facts.
But I will say this, and like Amanda said, coming on here talking about women, so I'll ask this because we got to wrap it up. What other group of women speak ill of their men?
No one. Nobody said nothing about that.
I just want you to.
I'm not saying about me married young, but I ain't saying about me married younger, man. What I'm saying is that it's okay to teach our kids to be able to, when they're younger, take this hard life with someone on the front end. That's just real talk, man. That's real talk. But when we teach them to saying, man, go live your best life, what life? Different experience of different men having sex with you, is that their best life? Because I don't care what nobody says. I guarantee everybody on here had sex before they got married. And I guarantee you ain't stopped. The only reason why you stopped having sex with different people because you got married and you found someone that you can settle down with. I don't want my daughter to have all these different experiences with different men. Then when she get 30 and 40, she got 10, 12 different people.
Now, Amanda said if there was any race I'd emulate would be the Asians, but then if you ask most of the Asians,
oh man, you don't want to emulate the Asians. They want to submit to them.
This is what I'm saying.
When they got no identity.
That's number one. That's what I was gonna say. But then if you ask, like, some women are just oppressed. Some like I can't go. These white women are over these white men. That's not true. Look at the numbers. They still man than white men.
They sure is.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is.
What she say? If you, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
She said the Asians.
Actually, the women are very much. No, they're not. She said they are independent. They're not.
No,
they're not.
No,
not the Asian women.
No. Go to the beauty supply stores and see what's going on. Shoot, man, come on, man.
But y'all, we gotta go. It's been a day. I know y'all gonna keep going and we don't close this out. But
man, tune in next week.
Tune in next week, man.
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
We sorry about the sound difficulties.
We're gonna
get that right. Once we get off now, we're gonna get it right. But man, we appreciate, man, all the insight, all y'all comments, man. Please come back. Man, share this live, man. Look, we ain't always gotta agree. The point is to have the conversation. And don't listen to respond. Listen to absorb and understand where your brother or sister coming from. Mm-hmm. We taking everything everyone says on here, right, man. Even if we disagree with it, your opinion is valid. Your opinion is needed for us. I agree with the each one teach one with Tupac and Malcolm X. The type of mindset each one teach one, but I also agree with, look, man, it's okay to get corporately together and get things done too. You know, I don't believe it's just one way to skin a cat. I believe we put our heads together. It's different ways that we can achieve this. But all I'm saying, everybody open their hearts and minds to what each other have to say and really consider what a person is saying, man. And man, I appreciate, man. I love all y'all. I really do. And I appreciate my family. I see Amanda. I see Kenny. I see y'all, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in and being in convo with us and helping us tonight, man. I appreciate it. All love to y'all.
Yeah. But we'll see y'all next week, man. Peace and love one another. Hope y'all have a great rest of the week. Tomorrow, Friday, don't get too lit. And we'll see y'all next time. All right.